Aaron, we need the music off. Can you guys kill the music?
If you're uncomfortable, then it can
Just a little bit of beef sticks in case you get hungry. T-shirts and then the smoke shirt. I didn't get you. Yeah, those things are good to smoke. That was a good show.
Thank you. You guys sit here? Can you just put that on the table? Right there? Thank you. That'd be great. Debbie. Can you guys let me know how it sounds when we start?
What? Turn it down.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly.
That's the most
Can you help me with the music? Yeah. Oh, they did it.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream. Now, on the day after a Packer loss, it's great.
They can't move them apart.
I can hear it, but I don't know.
You can't really have it. Yeah, it's pretty low. You can't hear it.
Yeah. All righty. Can you hear us okay? All right. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it very much. Welcome to Wahoo Willie's for our Sunday show with the mayor. A lot of stuff going on today. First, I wanted to get everybody update on what we know about what happened on Madison Court real quick. There is a death investigation on Madison Court at 445 Madison Court. The public is not in danger. The sheriff's department says that they have identified who the person is, but they're not sharing that right now. And it's under investigation. One of the neighbors did say that they saw somebody was walked out of the house in handcuffs, but that doesn't really mean anything. The only thing that we know is that the public isn't in danger and that more information will be coming forward from the sheriff's department. So crazy on Madison Court. You know what? It's never a dull moment on Fort Myers Beach, dear. It's never a dull moment.
Well, the important thing is that
Yes.
that people are safe and
Right.
figure they'll get the information out.
Right.
when they can.
So if we could talk briefly before our first guest about our race last night, because, like Doreen and Perry Hansen were at the show yesterday and they heard us talking about the race, the cops and joggers race in downtown Fort Myers, which we love to support the law
Yes.
enforcement folks
And that was Fort Myers PD. But yes, all law enforcement, all first responders, there were firemen there. We appreciate all that they do.
And what is the name of the bagpipe band that plays at the VFW? And they were there last
They were
night.
there.
and
The
they're-
calendar girls were there.
Yes, they're always in the Shrimp Festival parade, so they were there. And so, you're not wearing it.
Well,
So if
I mean, I might have brought it.
So if I could just tell the story, like I know I don't want to sound like I'm a whiner, but I was injured. I mean, I didn't have an
Lights
injury.
up. It lights up, everybody. It lights up.
It's always got to be about you. So I had a little injury, and we had
Here we go.
8 doctors in the audience yesterday who said I got sciatica. Now, honestly, that really sounds like an old person's thing that it happens to you. But
Well,
it's not my back. It's like my butt cheek. It goes all the way down the right side of my leg, like I'm having a stroke or something. So one of the things I didn't tell you yesterday was we're getting ready for the race at the house. And I bend over I have a knee brace that I wear because I've got old man's knees. So I can't get the knee brace on because I can't reach down to pull the knee brace over to my knee. And then so I'm like, forget it, I'll just suck it up. And then the second thing was I reached down to put my socks on and I couldn't get my socks on. So I ran in with the sneakers and no socks on. But I wasn't going to tell you that beforehand because you would just say I was a little whiner. But the thing,
no, I wouldn't say that, but I'm not clipping your toenails and I'm not putting your socks on for you.
So
I'm not doing it.
If you don't know what that race is about, you have to run over the bridge, one of the bridges
41 bridge.
in downtown
Fort Myers.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about the course.
You have to
here. I
run
wanna
over
make
the
sure.
bridge and then turn around and do it all over again. Now, it's the bridge part, it's not there is a grade to it, and we're all, flatlanders, so it's a little bit of tough. But the entrance to get onto the bridge, that's quite a steep thing. So when you come
there and hit that, it is a little bit jarring, but they had it laid out so that you could have a little bit of a warm up and then go up and go over. It was at night. I think if I were to do it again, I would wear a light because as the night went on, and you're coming back.
Yeah.
But so in the swag bag, I didn't know they had this for you, dear.
Oh boy. What does it say?
It says crybaby tattoo.
I see.
So and they wrote on here to Ed, thanks for participating from the Fort Myers Police Department. So here you go, dear. There's your crybaby tattoo.
Fair enough.
I opened up that swag bag this morning to go through it, and somebody put Smarties in there, and I love Smarties, so I was eating those for breakfast. And that thing rolled out, and I was like, thank you.
Are you serious?
The universe, yes.
Wow.
The universe was like, here you go, Kim. Rub a little salt in that wound.
So the funny part about that race last night was it was up a bridge, which, if you're a runner,
We already talked about that while you were fiddling with your thing.
flat. Our times from last night's race were faster than the times that we ran at the Jingle Jog, which was totally flat, which made no sense. And I felt like with my injury and stuff, my broken leg, and I'm running without socks on, and I feel like I had COVID just last night and the whole thing. So I felt like I ran a fairly.
Tissues? Anyone got tissues?
And I'm 60, and I'm over 60 years
Oh
old, so I'm
my
thinking
God.
this is going to be good. So I'm looking for the results, and she cries after every race. It's my worst race. Blah blah blah.
No, I didn't say anything this time.
And so she shows the results to me, and I'm in 6th place, which, as you know, is 5th loser. I mean, that's all 6th place is. You're the 5th loser on that chart there. And then she looks, and then she shows me hers, and she's first in her age, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm never going to hear the end of this. I'm never going to hear the end of this.
Totally shocked. I was. Because when I saw 31, I was like, I was happy with it. But
yeah. So the last thing
I was totally shocked.
The last thing I want to say about this is, we're coming back over the bridge, and I always try and find people that I think are running a good pace. There was this younger guy, muscular guy, and he's running, and I catch up to him, and I think, all right, I'm going to run the race with him for the rest of the race over the bridge and back. And then I hear him start to his breathing starts to get heavy. And, then in my mind, I smell weakness. Like, this guy's sucking wind now. So I just take off ahead of him so I can humiliate him.
And that's the kind of karma that gets you 5th or 6th
right.
place.
That's exactly what happened.
Meanwhile, we had someone before the race, and he is a nice guy. He's funny.
He comes
But
to all our
he
races.
comes to all the races. He starts telling us it's this percent grade, and don't go out too hard. And when they turn around and come back, they'll have the walkers on the sidewalk. And then he looks at me and he goes, "It's probably where you'll be." And I was like,
yeah. And I thought, that was not that was not a good thing to say to her.
Wow. But he did send a message on Facebook.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He responded. He said, "Nice job." And I thought, well, at least I wasn't walking on the sidewalk.
So, and just so there was.
All right. So move on.
Last thing about at the end of the race, I always try and save a little bit of in the gas tank so you can sprint to the end.
This is why you're 5th.
And so there's this young girl that runs. She sees me catching up to her because I'm trying to pass as many people as I can at the end. And she looks at me and she goes, "Let's race." So I was like, all right. So we start sprinting. And then all of a sudden I feel everything from my waist down breaking down, like my knees and my thighs and my ankles. And she was so far ahead of me at that point, I couldn't even find her in the crowd. So she got me back.
She got you back.
Anyway, we do want to talk about the Matt DeVette thing because that's a whole hullabaloo, but we'll do that later on with Dan because I know Dan's got tons of opinions on that. But right now, I want to introduce to you the town manager, Will McInerney, and the new public information officer, Abigail. Come on down. We have, for those of you, turn your mics on there. Grab either one of those. Just keep the mics nice and close. And Marie or anybody, we just need to get Abby in the picture a little bit more so I'm out of the picture more. And I'm going to let Will take it from here and introduce everybody to Abigail.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks for the opportunity to introduce to Abigail Eberhard, who is our new public information officer at the town of Fort Myers Beach. We're really glad that she joined the team. And I'll definitely want to give her a chance to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her and why she decided to join the team. But just a little bit of story. So when, I wore my Georgetown shirt today because when we were advertising the position, Talisa is terrific at recruiting and getting out there, our HR director, Talisa. And she had been, out there. We had a lot of interest in the position, but then I decided, well, I'm going to put it out on my LinkedIn page too, which also has a lot of Georgetown connections because I went there. And but little did I know that Abigail was in the area looking for a position like that, and she's on those connections as well. She reached out to me through that, and I put her in contact with Talisa, and she submitted her resume and everything, and then Talisa and I did an initial virtual interview, which we were blown away by, absolutely blown away. So right away, I told Talisa, set up a second interview with Abby. I've got to, we got to bring her in person and do that. And I was all prepared. I had Talisa just prepare me. Okay, I don't want to give her really a much harder grilling this time, the second interview. This is going to be harder, more in depth. I want to give some specific questions, maybe give her some homework assignments, strategic, how would you handle this from a public information perspective and how would you handle this? And she showed up to the interview with a binder already prepared. I hadn't sent her anything. I hadn't sent her any questions in advance or anything like that. She showed up with a binder with multiple different ways, scenarios already with her answers, how she would recommend myself, the mayor, anybody answering and dealing with these questions from a media perspective, from a public relations perspective, already in there. And they were almost spot on to what I was going to ask her. And I tried to, still be tough and kind of ask her some things. And
he wasn't that tough.
Yeah, I see. I wasn't. I couldn't be because she had just really, taken the wind out of my sails there. But really, I was very impressed. Immediately after that, after we finished the interview and took her on a tour of the island, I called Talisa and I said, "Can I send her an offer letter right now?" You know. And Talisa was like, "Well, she's a good HR." She said, "Let's see. Let's wait a few days. Let's review everybody who's applied." And but I knew right away that Abby was going to be perfect. So we're so glad to have her on the team. She's already, as you guys know, I think she's already just really taken things to another level. So Abby, please let them know a little bit about yourself.
And before you do that, just so you all know, if you weren't here when she first arrived, she was dropped off by the Secret Service. So that's how important she is.
Who were you dropped off by?
Oh, I took an Uber.
Oh, it was an
I was
Uber.
afraid traffic was
So,
going to be bad.
It was a
but,
really blacked out car with windows that were blacked out, and the guy got out of the car with dark sunglasses on, ran around
He
the
took
other
his
side.
job very seriously. I appreciated it for sure.
It must have been like Uber XL or something.
It was. It wasn't even a black car. I think I just called it at the right time.
Yeah.
$40 got me a Secret Service drop off. But Will, thank you so much for that. And again, my name is Abigail Eberhard. I'm the new Public Information Officer. They say in life, when you want something, you have to go and take it. It's not going to be handed to you. And so when I saw Will post the job, I knew I had to have that job. And I knew that my only way to get that job would be to tell Will that I want the job. And, Will's personal information is not posted anywhere. His email address is not posted anywhere. And so I tried almost 15 email addresses, just guessing to try and get his email right. And then one of them went through and I was like, all right, I'm ready to play ball. I'm in the game now.
Maybe you should consider the Secret Service.
I know. I did a little bit of investigative work there. And I just, I lauded his efforts on the beach renourishment. I know that was a little bit controversial, but it's so necessary in coastal towns like this. My background is I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so right up there on the Gulf, I have, a lot of experience, in coastal towns growing up in one, and have a lot of experience with hurricanes. My family lived through Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Ivan. We lost everything and we had to rebuild from nothing. And so the alignment felt great, coming into Fort Myers Beach because I was, had the opportunity to work with a community that's resilient, a resilience that I understood. And I could help people that, needed the skill set that I provide, which is, helping people come back from nothing and retain hope. Because ultimately our communities can only thrive if we're hopeful, for a brighter future. So I'm very happy to be here. When I made that binder, I will say there was a lot of material. The recall had just happened. The hurricane recovery, right? There was so much to cover. So I picked 2 or 3 topics. But I think the town is doing, a great job in supporting me. I'm doing things a little differently. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. I've gotten some negative. But my ethos with public information, and unfortunately in this day and age, it's what it has to be, is that it not only needs to be informative, but it needs to be compelling. And we live in a time where the news is more entertainment than information. And we have to keep up with that. We have to engage people where they're at. And images and, posts with humor are a necessary component of that strategy.
I'm going to switch with you just because that one's cutting out.
Okay. Is this better?
So, there is a lot. There's a lot going on down here. And I would like to say that's unusual, but there's usually a lot going on down here. How has it been so far, kind of getting up to speed and going forward? And how have you dealt? It's easy to take in the accolades. How have you dealt with some of the negative stuff that you've gotten?
There's been a little bit of negative stuff. There's a lot of rumors circulating about how much money I make. I promise you, I do not make 6 figures. They changed that very quickly, and I'm happy to not make 6 figures. I took this job because I want to serve. It's a public service role. And so
I'm going to keep that.
When I get my
write that one down, Dave.
And we'll make sure to send you the clip of this interview
I know,
so that you can have
sealed
it.
my fate there.
Yeah.
And just so anybody knows, all that information is public. You can look it up.
is.
Absolutely.
Everybody's salary is public
Yep.
in any kind of municipality. So if anybody actually wanted to get the facts of what the salary was, they could ask the clerk is the keeper of the records. You do a public document request, you can get all the salaries of anybody that works for the town or the county or anybody.
Yes, that is.
And not
that's-
only the salaries, but you can get the emails. So if you have a question about something, you can always make a documents request for any emails pertaining to said salary, right?
Well, and I am actually moving a little bit away from what my predecessor did. I encourage anyone to reach out to me directly. abigail.eberhard@fmb.gov or fmbgov.com. We're going to be changing that very soon, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I do not like public records requests. So if you have a question, I am on call all the time, ready to answer your questions, no matter what the question is, so that you don't have to waste time going through a public records request, because I think it's my job. I owe it to the people to give them the information that they need and make it easy to get that information.
So one of the things I noticed right away, and this is no knock on, this is for us, this is our 4th or 5th public information officer. This is no knock on anybody, is that the information was coming out quickly right away, more information. You were on TV the 1 week, 3 or 4 times doing different things. We did an interview with Will about the beach school. So, I mean, you've been getting more information out there, which I think is great. More information, the better.
Yes. Well, and some people have had issue with how I get information out. They don't want me to use certain media sources.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Ed, some people were not so happy that I gave the beach school interview to you. And I want to take that opportunity today to kind of explain why I did that. I gave 2 other media outlets an opportunity to cover the beach school, and they said it wasn't interesting enough for them. And so, unfortunately, you know, when that happens, I have to go to the journalist that has covered, that has cared, that has reported the information accurately, and that was Ed. And so, you know, if I put information out there and people don't bite, then I have to go to the person that wants it. And, you know, Ed's covered this story. He's cared. And so, honestly, he deserved it. He deserved that story.
Oh, thank you.
And
Even though he came in 5th, he deserved it.
6th. I don't even think it was 5th.
Sorry.
I like the way that Abigail explained that. And she talked to me about that beforehand. And I could tell that she had put a lot of thought into it, a very strategic approach of how, you know, she's following, she's in connection, she's building relationships with all the different public information officers from the other government agencies, with all the journalists who cover the beach or Southwest Florida, so that she knows which one is going to be the best for her to reach out to. She'll give everyone the opportunity to cover the story, but which one, if there's going to be an exclusive or wants to bring them out, you know, to talk to us in person, you know, so that we can get the most engagement for that story and get our story out.
Right.
So I like that approach.
And from the other side, it's our job to know what the information is. And if the reporters aren't doing their job, including me, then, you know, that's on us. I mean, it's our job to make sure we know what the details are on something that happens on Madison or something, you know, whatever's going on in the beach renourishment or the beach school, and get the information out. Now, I know you said to me, you're not a fan of the fact that I block people, and that's fair. I mean, I totally get it. And that was why people criticized why you used us, because I block people, but we are a business, and we run our business our way. And but that's a fair criticism, because the government is not allowed to block people. And I can understand where that came from. But, and so that's where the rub came from. People were not happy that we block people.
But we're going to, we provided the clip, and we'll provide this for you guys to have it, which we don't do for everybody, but we don't want to, we would. Yeah. But we don't want to get in the way of that. But yes, there are people that are not allowed to comment on our page for the reasons that we have, but we're more than willing to give it to you so that everybody,
and we don't even need the credit.
And I want to say to the audience that doesn't know this, that's incredibly rare. And so, like, when I go on TV and they take B-roll of me speaking, I would normally have to pay them a lot of money to get that B-roll. It's very rare that you have a media source that will give it to you for free. And so when Ed
did I say freak? No, I'm only kidding.
I'm writing that one down too. I got both. I have the receipts.
That was very nice. That was very unique. I thought Ed was going to come in and say I had to give him $500 for it.
No.
We have no money, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to
10
get
coffees.
That. But it was very generous. Thank you for doing that.
No, we actually love the relationship. We've had differing relationships with the city. I mean, it goes back to the day with the town where nobody would talk to us, and we didn't find out about a press conference until 30 minutes before it happened. That's just the way it goes.
Right.
The pendulum always switches, whether it's national politics or local politics. It always moves around. Now we have a great relationship,
and we just
with
pivot
everybody
along with it.
And just so I know I made this point once before. You guys that live on this beach, the team that Will has set up under him now with Abby and with Chad and with Tracy and the mooring field Curtis, an unbelievable team, and they're probably all underpaid. And you can write that down too, Will, if you want to. But but that is a great team, no doubt about it. And that's government light, stretching it to the limits right there. With hiring great people with government light is not an easy thing to do. So kudos to you, Will.
The team is fantastic. I have to give a lot of credit to Andy and some of the other predecessors as well, because he brought some of those onto the team, and I was able to maybe further enhance some of their duties, some of their responsibilities, give them a little bit more autonomy, a little bit more resources to do their jobs. That's what I'm looking to do, is it's talent management, putting the best people in the right place at the right time and giving them the resources to be successful. I have a great team that helps me accomplish that. We're really happy for that. We're always looking for more talent. So if you're interested, we do have openings with the town, and I think it's a great place to work, great team to work for. So I had to get that plug in there too.
So let me ask you guys both this question. The way the politics are working, you're all at the, you work at the mercy of the politics, and the political situation at the time seems to be shifting a little bit. Does that worry you at all, or does it not worry you?
Well, I don't let it worry me too much. I build relationships with all. Like in my case, I work for the council. They're my bosses, and so I work hard to develop good relationships with them so that we can have very open and frank discussions. Whether it's a difficult issue or an easy, happy thing that we're all dealing with, I want to just be there, and be the best resource for them and enable them with the team behind me to allow them to provide the good governance to this community and that the residents and visitors deserve. So I don't waste a lot of time worrying about that. It's challenging, obviously, for us and the staff, and sure, there's stress involved when there's turmoil in the leadership, when there's changes to some of the leadership. But my responsibilities, leaders, myself and Tracy and others, is to help lead the team through those changes and make sure that we continue to provide the same level of service no matter what's going on.
Can I ask you one question off the beaten path, Will?
Sure.
Do you? We had Lee Melsick on the show yesterday, and Lee said that he thinks that the town attorney should make some kind of statement about Jim Dunlap's position on the LPA, being that there seems to be a question about Homestead and him being on the LPA and voting. Now, my opinion was that the town attorney didn't really have any reason to make a statement on the voting issue. It's a Lee County elections thing. Can you give anyone any direction on where that might go with the next town council meeting?
Well, I would agree with what you spoke on yesterday on that. The town attorney does, she advises me, she advises the council, and she has done so on many issues, this one included. And what she did make, which is obviously a public comment during town council early last week, was that according, what the charter says, and the charter is public record.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to do a public records request for the charter. You can go to the town website and download and read the charter, to your heart's content. And the charter is brief but clear on the requirements to run for office in the town of Fort Myers Beach. I think that is our guidepost right now. That is the advice that she gave to the council, is that if people meet the requirements as outlined in the charter, which is a legal document that every town, municipality in any state, but here in the state of Florida, has to submit for review by the state. So it has been reviewed by the states for its legal sufficiency, the current charter. So I think that's the sound advice that she gave us, me and the councilors last Monday, is where we stand.
And the advice was that Jim was eligible to be appointed if that was the direction he wanted to go. He never applied, so nothing really has to be said.
Correct. That's correct.
Do you know if the town has any applications as of today?
We have none as of today.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe that'll be an empty seat until the election, which could be a possibility, I guess, right? If there's nobody to appoint, right? Who you're going to
certainly
appoint.
We need applicants. Yeah, we definitely need applicants. And
those weren't the positions you were talking about earlier. About.
Well, right. But we need applicants. I encourage any member who meets the qualifications to and is interested in serving the community to consider it strongly. And Abby got from Amy, our town clerk, all the information necessary posted through our Facebook page. Also, it's on our website. So if anybody has any questions, they can contact me directly, Abby directly. We'll get them the information they need to apply.
Yeah. So when I saw you guys at the boat christening, which, by the way, I'm sure all the other media were invited to, and nobody else was there covering that.
It's true.
Just to make a point there, you guys mentioned that you might want to come on to talk about AI, and so I have no idea what that even is because I'm old. But what?
No, I'm not going to. It's too easy to take that one. I'm not going to get you on that.
So
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah. So thanks, Ed, for that opportunity. Briefly, we did want to discuss. Since coming on board, I had the idea. I wanted to bring ways to help our staff do their jobs better, more efficiently, with more effectiveness, and give them, like I mentioned before, give them the tools and the resources to do their jobs better. Had many discussions with staff, and there were already some initiatives coming on board, ongoing, like with our finance department, with something called Tyler Technologies, and with our community development department with a thing called GovWell. These are all tools which integrate, really, I like to call them advanced digital tools. We've talked about this because they're more than just AI. It's some of it will be a public facing thing. We want to bring on some tools for the public so they can get better access quicker to the information they seek. So they don't have to call and wait on hold to speak to somebody if they have a simple question about if they need a permit for this or a permit for that. Or if they, have a question about where can I park? Where can I get a parking permit? Just a lot of different things. There are advanced digital tools that many municipalities across the country and here in the state of Florida have been using for years now. We're a little bit behind because of the tragedy and that we've gone through in the last few years. We haven't had the opportunity to look at these new innovations that we're looking at now. In the coming months, you're going to see some great initiatives come on board. Members of my staff have brought these ideas to us, and I just think they're fantastic. Some of them will be virtual assistants from the website or virtual assistant when you call into the town, which I want to say up front, there will always be a human in the loop. At any time, if you want to talk to a person, all you have to do is say, I want to talk to a person.
On that, do you hear less of the concern that people are not able to talk to somebody? Because that was a concern before he got here.
It was a concern, and I did hear that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to, we looked at the different challenges, and with government light, as you mentioned before, it's challenging. I can't just hire a whole bunch of people just to be receptionists. So we got to look at ways to make those people who do answer the phones, let me back up, have systems where, say, for example, they can call in and they do just have a question about, I want them to be able to, either they call in or they go to the website, they can get to the information they want within 2 clicks or within 2 questions. Mm-hmm. That's the goal, 2 clicks to the answer. Maybe it's not always going to be the case if it's a more complicated permitting issue that they're asking about, but the information will be there. It's going to take time to put these systems in place because once we agree to the companies we're going to work with, they're going to come on board, sit down with my staff, and they're going to integrate all of our systems into these new advanced digital tools. So it's going to be a great initiative. From a public information perspective, I think it'll also make us more accessible to the public. Abby, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line, AI sounds really scary, right? Server farms and chatbots, and it sounds like we're creating distance between us and the people. This is not the case. We're just trying to be a lean, mean fighting machine and to not have to take on more people and spend more money. It's AI, but what we don't realize is we're using AI even when we don't know it, right? Our phone is 40% AI. Back-end processes, software, all of that is AI. So we're going to say AI, but you're not going to feel it one bit. You're just going to feel really a government that is more efficient and that's working harder for you and spending less of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars.
Well, sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say, I know it sounds daunting, but the bottom line is that we are a little bit behind as a municipality. And we have had obviously some challenges and disaster, but we have to catch up because it's just costing us time and money if we don't.
And I think people are getting used to that. Like if you are online and you go to a business, the little virtual assistant will pop up and at least get the background information. They can, you can type in what your question is. And then if it's something easy that system can direct you to, done. You didn't have to bother an actual person.
Right.
If there's actually like a permit issue, they, get the background information so that when it is elevated to an actual human, that person already has, you don't have to repeat yourself and go through this again. They can get online. They have your permit number. They've looked at it. They can get you an answer.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That.
So say, for example, somebody wants to call about, whether they need a permit. They'll call, they can either type in their question or they can ask the virtual assistant the question. and say that the next question may be, well, could you tell me what address you're talking about? Where what's your address? Because it may differ, right? What they need if it's a residential address versus a commercial address. And then after that question, well, it might be, well, it sounds like you need a fence permit. I'll text you the link of that permit right now. And it'll do that.
Wow, that's
that
great.
advanced. So they can then just have it themselves.
Fast.
And we've done some samples of this. They've come in either virtually or in person, and we've been blown away with the technology. It's really, we are in charge of designing how it's going to work for our town. It's not another company coming in and telling us what to do. It is very much we are going to design it and then implement it.
And it's going to be quicker for the customer, for the person
Absolutely.
calling in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To not waste their time, not waste resources on the other end. And if it's a nuanced situation, then somebody can come online.
That's right. Then they'll get a real person to speak to.
Has anyone here ever tried to file a permit or deal with permitting in Fort Myers Beach? Yeah. No, it's not fun. It's tough. We are going to be making that process faster. And bottom line is this is exactly what this software is going to do.
And we often, even somebody wants to check on the status of their permit or check on the status of a code complaint or something like that. A lot of times now they have to call in and ask, and we tell them, well, you got to go to the website and go down to this link or whatever. Or they send an email. It might take a couple of days to get the response. No, they'll be able to put in what exactly if that permit number is, and they'll be able to get an update sent to them right away.
Dear,
Yes.
It's artificial intelligence.
What did I say?
No. You said you didn't know what AI was. So I would like to live with some AI every once in a while because this is rough over here.
How does any of this, if at all, fit into the vacation rental stuff? Because there's a lot going on with that. And I was on Madison Court today talking to Barbara Hill, and she was kind of. You guys went down there and attacked that road nicely and trying to take care of that straight for them.
As an example to the residents on Madison's Court did reach out to me last week about some concerns they had with some short-term rentals on their street. I really appreciate that kind of feedback. It allows us to get, maybe if we've haven't been seeing something, they bring it to our attention and we'll go down and do it. And there were some non-compliant short-term rentals on that street. And as we've been talking about too, we're going to be, re-rolling out the short-term rental notifications to get people who are not compliant to come into compliance and register their properties. Get those who need to re-register, get them registered. But also, yes, it will help with that. We do have a system, or a company that's helping us manage the short-term rentals. We're going to be able to integrate some of this new advanced digital tools into that as well, where people can just. How do I register my property for short-term rental? Boom, we can text them the permit application to do that. Or a resident can say, you know what, this house next to me, I thought we live on a monthly street and I think they're renting it weekly.
Yeah.
What do I do? And then, they can have a conversation with that tool, or it'll just put them in direct contact with the person that they can get clarification. They can ask what the zoning is on their street for verification, and that can be sent to them. So there's a lot of different.
I want to tell a story really quick. When I turned 25, I was living in New York and I wanted to have this crazy birthday party, right? I just made a little bit of money. I'd gotten a bonus check and I was like, I'm going to invite all my friends. We're going to pack into this car. We're going to pack birthday cakes and balloons. I mean, we packed this Suburban all the way to the ceiling and we're going to drive out to the Hamptons and I'm going to rent a house. I paid a deposit on the house. It was like $20,000 per person. I think it ended up being in total $60,000 amongst everyone that was joining in on this house.
That's a big bonus check.
It was all of my money, all the money I had. I was like, I have to do this. I've never had a birthday party that I love. So we pull into this house. It's absolutely beautiful. We're pressing the button on the gate and this woman answers and is like, hi, how can I help you? And I'm like, oh, this is our vacation rental. We're here to unload. Can we pull in? And she goes, this isn't a vacation rental. This is my house. And we just look at each other and we're like, can we come talk to you for a second? So we show her the posting of the house. We show her the form we filled out, the contract, the wire information. And she was like, that's not my bank account. This is our home.
Wow.
2 little kids come running out. And she was like, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. So we had to stay at some motel that night where I had a car packed full of cakes and surprises.
But you made memories. That was a party you're never going to forget for the
I
rest
will
of your
never
life.
forget it, Ed. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
But my point in telling that story is, what if we would have had a short-term rental portal in that area for me to see that house wasn't even listed?
Yeah.
What if I would have had the ability to check beforehand? You know,
Did you get your money back?
No, we didn't get our money back.
No.
It was
Oh
awful.
my
So
God.
But
Will,
these things are happening all over the country. Rental fraud.
You
is
were crying
real.
on your birthday.
I was upset.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it was so bad it was funny. And Ed is right. We ended up, having one too many beers that night at the motel and laughing about it.
I
I
would
can
have
tell
been
you-
on the roof ready to jump. I'm tight with my money. That
Yeah.
would have
Yeah,
done
she
me
is.
in.
Well,
I-
I will never do it again. It was a lesson learned, right? I will
Hard
never.
lesson.
But
Oh,
my point in telling the story is that this is exactly what this kind of software prevents against. It's so that you don't rent a house, show up, and then someone else is living in it, and you can't get your money back.
So Will,
Yeah.
there's always questions about the
Yep.
rentals,
Yep.
and Charles wants to know if there's a list of short-term rentals.
We don't have a full compiled list of all the short-term rentals right now because we're still, we had to pause the system for a little while to send our letters out, but we are working on developing a list. Right now, we're kind of in the point in the process where we were, if you remember, months ago, we talked about the temporary placement permits and stuff
Yes.
like that. Who has one, who doesn't, whose is good and whose is not. So I'd ask people, or when we went through the FEMA compliance list, and we didn't have that really a full list. Right now, we're at the point where they need to reach out to us and ask us if a particular address is or is not on the short-term rental list, and it'll help us further identify whether or not it is. So for now, we will have a list of all the registered properties in the future. Again, there will be properties that are not registered, either because the owners aren't aware they're required to, or we've been pausing their registration for a while because the software wasn't working as we wanted it to. But there are still others out there that know that that are registering and or that are renting, should be registered, are not registered. So I just encourage everybody who wants to do short-term rental on Fort Myers Beach. You are required to register your property as a short-term rental. It is an easy process to do. I understand there are difficulties with some of the inspections, and I know Chief Worth and his team are working very hard to work through the list of fire and safety inspections. And if that's something that your property is waiting on, reach out to us. Let us know that that's something that you're on the list. For a fire and safety inspection, and we'll be willing to work through you. It doesn't mean that you can rent. We can't give a waiver for anybody. The town cannot give a waiver for somebody to rent their property as a vacation rental if they don't yet have that fire inspection because they're waiting for it. We can't and we will not do that. But what we will do is work with you on when it comes to the code enforcement process. If we can delay the code enforcement because you're waiting. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for that.
Lisa,
what is the penalty if you don't register? What is the code enforcement penalty?
Fines
Yeah,
almost up to $500.
It goes through fines, starting off just like our other code compliance.
But that has to
Starting
go
off
through the
as
magistrate
little as
process,
maybe
right?
Yes.
a couple $100, and then it could work its way up if you're a repeat offender.
So you might have already answered this. Lisa wants to know, how do you find out if a house is registered or not?
There's a portal. There's
Okay.
a portal on the website, on the short-term rental page, which I redid. I know everyone hates the website. I'm working on it. That page is done. And there is a link, and it will show you all of the current
Okay.
Yeah.
listed rentals.
All right. So Lori says it's required to collect taxes also, right? I don't know what that means. Maybe you guys do.
That's through the that's the property
Oh, okay.
management companies
All right.
or as an individual with their normal taxes.
Is
not
it
the town.
easy to fill out the information that you need? I know there was some, like the letters went out a couple months ago and people were freaking out about the letters. Is it easy now?
It really
It
is.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a couple.
very
So
it's-
there's no reason not to do it. You're
Nope.
just
No
not
reason
doing
not
it
to do
no
because
reason at all, and our staff is more than happy to answer any questions or help people through the process.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Abby, what else do you want people to know about how you're going to get information out there? I know you did a lot of, I don't know what you did with the picture of Dan, but you made him look really pretty and thinner. and
That's
the whole
easy to
thing. And
do,
so-
Ed. That's
yeah.
very easy to do. No.
You were clean shaven in the picture. It looked like, wow, where is that picture from?
I know some people think it's silly, right? The turtles with the ice cream. It was advanced digital tools.
I don't think she can
Yeah.
find him advanced enough to fix me.
Oh, Ed, you just wait. I'm
Yeah.
sure one day I'll
Oh,
have a
yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, you've had your stuff AI. You've had your stuff babyfied. Yes.
No,
yes.
but I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from everyone about the way that I'm putting out information. So thank you. It is very fun to make those graphics, and I do like to make people smile. Right? It's important to be serious. We are government, but we have to have fun sometimes. Just like with the trailer and that Terry Prasad put. I think it was Kim Davidson's boat. That they
the
put,
winning boat
not
from
the
the
trailer,
boat
sorry,
parade.
the winning boat from the boat parade.
Illegally.
It was illegal, but you know what? It brought a smile to people's faces, and so we
Yes.
needed to address that
While we
situation.
worked the code case at the same time.
So listen, as
While
long
they
as
were smiling, code people were
listen,
smiling,
so
but they were
here-
doing
the
it.
moral of the story is if you want to do something
No.
illegal, just smile while you're
that's
doing
not
it.
it. No, but if it's something that brought people joy, and
Yeah.
Kim
Yeah.
really didn't know, right, that Terry didn't ask our permission. We can have a little bit of fun with it.
And they
it
also did say it was going to be removed. I knew ahead of
Yes.
time they were going to remove it on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot now, people that are talking about transparency. That's all you hear. More transparency, more transparency. Going forward, what are you looking at to provide as much transparency as possible? Because that's really big.
I don't want people to ever feel like they don't know what's going on. And again, I want to get away from public records requests. I want you to just call me and I will give you an answer to the best of my ability. Everything that we do is for the people because they're entitled to know what we're doing, right? I mean, you pay our salaries, so you deserve to know why we're making the decisions we're making. And I personally see it as my job to make sure that you have a justification for why we're doing what we do because it's owed to you.
All right.
But
Good enough.
I did want to say, I guess Ed left. I have a big announcement.
You have a big announcement, but he has a very small bladder.
Oh,
So let me ask you a question,
right.
and then we can wait till he and his baby bladder get back.
okay.
Why did you choose Fort Myers Beach?
To be honest, I wanted to work for Will. I saw how he operated. I followed him on LinkedIn. His military background.
Back to your stalker.
Back to my stalker skills. I do. I really should work for the FBI. No. I wanted to work for Will, and I saw what he was doing in Fort Myers Beach. I saw that he was just coming in and making this great transition. There was hope again in Fort Myers Beach, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that team. I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to help a community that reminds me so much of the one that I come from.
And where did you come from again?
New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans.
And you had a similar position there, or what were you doing before this?
No. So before this, I worked for an oil and gas company.
For what?
An oil and gas company.
Oh, oil. I thought you
Oil
said
and gas.
oily gas. I was like, I
No.
think it's all oily. Yeah. Go
Oil
ahead.
and gas. So I dealt with some really challenging PR issues.
Oh, I can imagine.
But it was a private company, and so they're in it to make profit, right? They're in it to make money, and so ultimately, I was smoothing over stories just so that they could fill their coffers, and that it wears on you a little bit when you're not helping people and you're just doing everything for another buck. And I said I need to be in public service. It's what I went to school for. I grew up watching The West Wing. I always wanted to work for the people, and so this is exactly where I want to be, and I think it's meant to be.
Well, I delayed her big announcement while you dealt with your baby bladder. No,
I am already married, but
I guess that's news to you. All right.
Because I do what I always do. When it was first announced that she was getting the job, I went try and find everything I could about her online, and there was nothing.
That's good.
I couldn't find anything.
Great.
So what was the announcement?
So January 22nd, TikTok will be signing a deal with Larry Ellison, and we will be turning it into effectively an American company. So an American LLC or S Corp will own TikTok.
Wow.
This is a big deal because local governments so far haven't had TikToks because they were worried about data privacy and then basically the Chinese spying on citizens. And it's a very legitimate concern. But once that deal is made, we are going to be launching a town TikTok.
Oh boy, Dan,
And
you are in trouble now.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be funny.
Listen, Carmine, the sheriff's TikToks are hilarious.
Yeah.
So
Hilarious.
if you can make
They
it
do a
anything.
great job.
LCSO does a great job.
They do a great
with
job.
that.
And how they do it is they contract out to someone so that it's on a personal device, not a government device.
Oh, okay.
I think it can get a little gray. I don't want to put, our people at risk. And so we're going to do it right. We're going to wait until it's, an American company.
I've asked Greg Skasny, who deals with all that cyber stuff, if we should get a TikTok.
Yes.
Now we're old, so I wouldn't know what to do. But he's like, don't do it. do it because it's all about the Chinese. So I'm
Big
like, how is the
changes are
sheriff
coming.
doing it? And I can't do
Well,
it.
like
But
Abby said,
contracted.
they contract to a private company, so none of their devices are.
I have a
actually
statistic
using it.
for you. 80% people on TikTok or kids on TikTok are getting their information. 80% of them are getting their information from TikTok.
Yeah.
80% of them, that's how they get their news.
yeah, and that's why the I don't want to get into any of this really, but that's why the news media is falling apart, and that's why maybe you can't pay a really good weatherman the money that he might deserve and things like that. But I mean, it's all going to online, and if you don't take advantage of it now and get in with the program, you're going to be out. So
Yeah. And it's what we're seeing more and more is the attention span between the age of 18 and 29. I'm 30, so I'm not technically in that category.
30.
It's about 15. It's about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So they will give it 15 seconds
It's
to get information.
so funny you
and they
say
move
that
on.
because we've been testing out different things of our videos. We do these long form videos,
Right.
and then you can't make money on a long form video. 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
13 seconds
That's
is
the
where you
attention
get the
span.
most feedback.
Like a goldfish.
It's crazy. It's
I know.
crazy.
So you have to get information out there quick. You have to be concise, and you have to put it in a way that it can't be misconstrued. Because if you take a soundbite
Good
from
luck with
someone,
I see
TikTok-
Greg had a comment.
Yeah,
right?
he says TikTok is currently absolutely Chinese spyware. And
it
so,
is currently,
Yeah.
but next week, January 22nd, they're going to be signing a deal, and it will not be.
and all those spyware bots that are on there will be somehow sucked right out of it. So
They're going to be
We'll see.
redesigning all of the guts and the infrastructure. We will not do this until we are damn sure
Yeah.
that it is American and that we are not going to harm our people. And Will, obviously, with his military background, that was the first concern he had. So,
all right. Well, Abby, you are well worth your 6-figure salary that you're making. And big hand for
Way
Abby.
to put out
Thank you. Will,
misinformation.
can you stick around?
me to
Yeah,
stay?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Big hand for Abby. And let's introduce the soon leader of Venezuela and your current mayor, Dan Allers. Big hand for the mayor.
And chief meteorologist. We'll give you that title too.
Well, I've been called a lot of things. Why not?
So, Dan, the first thing you said was you had too many cookies last night. What kind of cookies were you eating?
Well, I don't know. We don't keep sweets in the house because if we do, I'm going to eat them all.
Or the dogs do, as
Or
we've
the
heard.
dogs do. So I honestly I don't know where they came from. But they were really good.
Yeah.
I had 2 or 3 cookies watching the Bears win last night. So
wow. Can you real quick on the football thing? I mean, I don't know if it's worse to be a Giants fan today or a Packers fan today. It's just, I mean,
I have
That was-
something
that
tells
was
me Best
brutal.
Buy has probably got a lot of new orders for TVs today. Some
So-
Packer fans are probably not
Yeah.
very happy.
Oh, that
we
was
had Dave
brutal.
Nussbaum sit in on the show yesterday to talk about the Murph meeting
Yeah,
real
poor
quick. And
Dave.
he had like a shirt like this on, but it was all Green Bay Packers. And I could just see him doing what I did with my shorts, putting them out in the frying pan and lighting it on fire after what happened last night. I mean, but anyway, so the Murph meeting is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And for the most part, they just usually talk about the coloring book. But on this Wednesday, they're going to talk about the helicopter situation. So do you guys have any more information on what's going on with that? Anything at all you can share? Will?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There you go. I'll go. Yeah. So maybe not. I can't speak for Fly Heli. The owners won't speak for him. But I've had more conversations with him this week. My staff has had more conversations with him this past week, and I know that we helped facilitate some introductions for him with some of the environmental advisory groups in the area. Monica with Pod Protectors, and we're trying to connect him with the Turtle Time ladies, and we're trying to connect him with everybody we can to help him, because he indicated to me that he absolutely wants to develop relationships with these environmental groups so he can ensure that he is doing everything in a way that does not disturb our great environment and the wildlife that we here on the beach all love. It's so much a part of living here at the beach. He's assured us that he wants to do that. And I know actually he again, you can call Steve and he can talk about it, but I know he went out in the bay with Monica from Pod Protectors. She showed him all her different concerns around the area, and he assured her that he would integrate that into his flight plans in the future. So again, I'd encourage everybody to reach out to him, reach out to her for more information on that. But that's my role. I don't have as I spoke of last time, a jurisdictional role over him as long as he's operating outside of our town's jurisdiction.
Sure.
I don't have any kind of overflight jurisdiction over him and his company. Those are other agencies that we also partner with. So if I do see his company or any company doing something that they're not supposed to do, we will notify those agencies as well and ask them to look into it. But I also want to ensure that we have a good relationship with the owner of Fly Heli, Steve, so that I can just call him direct as well and get a response.
So if you get the agencies, let's say you get the sign off on all the agencies, if you have Monica and if you have Eve at Turtle Time on your side, you pretty much have crossed all the I's and dotted the T's. Those two people, you want them cheering for you. If you don't, if you have them cheering against you, you never want Eve cheering against you. That's one thing. And she's a lovely person, but you don't want that.
Well, if there's one thing you've learned, if you paid attention to this island, is you don't want to get off on the wrong foot. And I think being proactive and getting in front of the people who may be your biggest opponents in things is the best way to do it. Because if you talk to them, you know, that one helps you understand how to better operate your business. And two, it keeps you from having to be on the defense. Like, unfortunately, Steve has been obviously on the defense for the last couple of weeks. So that's why last week we encouraged him to meet with all these groups and understand what their concerns are so that they can better understand what his business model is. And hopefully they can find a level ground to be able to operate.
And
That's a
not only is it the the environment, but people, concerns from residents about not wanting every 5, 10, 15 minutes because the frequency of flights could reach a level that is not going to be great.
Yeah, it certainly can. And again, these are some of the conversations that we're happy to have with him. We encourage others to also reach out directly to him and let him know about these things. But because he hasn't started his tours yet. He's only been doing training and testing flights. But again, we being proactive, to the mayor's point, is find out where that balance he needs to do to really not upset people too much. It's got to be an important part of his business.
So if you want to know more about what's going on, you should pay attention to the Murph meeting, and that's Wednesday at 10 o'clock. There's public comment at all those meetings, and we will carry that meeting live. We don't usually carry those meetings live, but we will carry that one live because I don't know if Steve's going to be there, but I know Dave Nussbaum's the chair.
I believe Steve, Abby is saying yes. Steve does plan on being there. Again, thank you for covering it, Ed. I think that's going to be a good discussion.
Cool. So Dan,
Christy,
go ahead. Taking off. Okay. So Dan, what final thought do you want to? I know Jim Dunlap is not going to apply. What final thought can you add to that as far as what the attorney told you about Jim's eligibility to be appointed to the town council?
Well, so I think what's important to understand and what the attorney said is she's not the ultimate decision maker, right? The council is when it comes to the appointments. So her job was to review the charter. It was to advise as to what the charter says. And if you actually go back and it's public information, you can request what she sent out to both Will and all the council members, is basically resident is not defined by just one specific thing. There's multiple things that are defined as a resident. So she did not opine or say anything about the homestead part of it. That's not her purview is to make sure that the qualifications, does he meet the qualifications to apply for a job on the town council? Yes, he does. But there's also another part in there, I think, that people aren't saying. The applicant also has to check a box certifying that they are indeed eligible and meet all the requirements. That would include state, everything that's in. So her job was to make sure that the town was following the charter, which she did, but she did not make any suggestions about the homesteading part of it, because that's not specifically it's not specifically laid out, and I'm probably butchering what she said, but it's out there to read if you want. It was very well written.
Okay,
and it was very much to the point.
There's something in writing.
Well, she sent an email to both Will and the council members.
Okay.
To lay out exactly what her perspective was based on the charter.
Okay, so you said something that I didn't hear. You said there's another box that an applicant has to check that verifies,
to certify that you meet all the requirements to be able to sit in that seat.
Right. So that becomes a legal document. They certify that.
And the attorney had no opinion on that checkbox.
No, she insisted that it go in there.
Yeah.
It was her advice that goes on there, because
an attestation that they meet all the requirements as laid out in the charter before they sign and submit their application.
But that also includes the not just the charter, but that includes any kind of state requirements. that you
So
would need
you're
to meet.
saying it's not in the
Registered
charter
voter.
now? This is something different? Is that
No,
what am I
That's
missing?
not in the
The
charter. That's on
application.
the application.
Okay.
application
Is this
itself.
an
So that they
application?
meet all the qualifications. They basically they attest that they meet all the qualifications.
Okay, so is that application new or is it the same one you've always had?
No, there were no major
question,
changes to
I
the
know.
application.
Okay.
Just some dates and other names that were on the application. But
So
No,
in
it's
your
the same.
opinion, from what you heard from the attorney, with that box that needs to be checked, is Jim Dunlap eligible to be appointed to the town council?
Well, it's irrelevant, quite honestly, because Jim decided he didn't want to run. Jim and I had a good conversation. Jim and I have had many good conversations. He has chosen to not run for the reasons he has laid out, both publicly on your
Dan, hypothetically, if a person,
hypothetically nothing. If he meets, or anyone in this room meets the charter requirements as laid out by the attorney to apply for that position, I strongly encourage them to do it. She said that yes, he met those requirements. Now at the end,
Okay.
it's the council member's decision
true.
to appoint that person.
But I'm trying to figure out that checkbox there based on what Jim said about his homesteading. Is there any kind of waiver that was going on about the hurricanes that people, nobody was able to live in their houses during the hurricane?
Not-
People were,
Not that I'm
you were
aware
in a
of.
trailer for I don't know how long.
Yeah, I mean, we were for over a year, just like many people. So I don't know that there was a waiver, but we were on the island for a short bit. We were off like everybody else.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
got back on the island as soon as we could. But that is one of the requirements, that you have to live on the island. But again, it goes, and if you read what she said, the residency isn't specifically laid out, other than you have to reside between, or have a residence between the jurisdictional boundaries of the town, which is bridge to bridge, essentially.
Okay. So
Yes, to answer your question, did he meet the charter requirements? Yes.
yeah, I thought,
Did he
I
meet
think
all the
that was
state
clear.
requirements? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. So the thing that I don't know if this is right or wrong, but when there's a posting about yucky water, I try never to cover that, and that's probably not a good thing.
You
to
have
do.
no idea what I had typed out to you and then deleted
I
when
bet.
I saw that
I
post.
bet. I
Because you
wasn't
have no
thrilled about
idea.
it
But Dan, I showed you the Wink post. Now Wink made it seem like everybody on the beach had E. coli, and if you came down here, you needed to have a suit on. I tried to make it somewhat funny because you can still come to the beach.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. What it was is it caused an uproar, and I got all kinds of emails from people saying, "Are people dying in the water?" I mean, you may think it's funny, but people that are going to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to come down here and visit don't find it funny. And I took offense to what you did, and I didn't send you that what I had typed out. I always try to make sure that I read it 3 or 4 times before I hit send, because it wasn't very nice. And I don't have a problem with people reporting the news, but sometimes, Ed, the way you word things are I don't always agree with. We've had this conversation 1,000 times, and I know you enough to know that you were just making light of a situation, but other people didn't see it as that. They took it very serious and thought that was major health concerns, and that they shouldn't even come over the bridge. So sometimes we got to be careful what we put out there.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't the first one. Wink, I showed you the post about
You
Wink.
did.
And
which
Wink
is why I was so shocked when I saw your post within 10 minutes
did,
after that.
Did Wink say come to the beach anyway? Did
I
Wink
didn't-
say the
honestly didn't see
restaurants
it.
are open and
Yeah.
the bars are open and that people should still come to the beach? Is that what I said? Yes, that's what I said, Dan. I'll answer the question for you. That's what I said.
You did. But again, it was not everybody understands you like people that follow you every week, or people that know you like we know you. But so sometimes your words have consequences, and people took, your satire, if you will, when it talked about the 18 crosswalks and the duty in the water. They took it serious. They didn't understand that you were.
So was
you were
there
just-
not?
Well, maybe it is serious though. I mean, there is a posting out there. There is a health department posting.
I'm not saying there's not.
Okay, so so where are we then?
Well, I guess I'm asking you: are you trying to be helpful or hurtful?
Well, I don't know. Should I have been more helpful by actually posting that you should not go in the water because it's a health hazard? Because that's the truth, right?
Is that what?
I'm not
is
trying
that
to.
what that-
I can see you're starting to get frustrated because I'm
Because
pushing it back on
I
you a
still
little bit.
invite people to the beach. I
You
try
do.
to find a way to make light of it a little bit and still have people come to the beach. Nobody else
Yeah.
is going to do that.
It's water under the bridge now. People are still coming. We
Or
still have a
duty
beautiful
under
beach.
the
I
bridge.
knew
Or-
you were. As soon as you started to say that, I was like,
Here we go.
yeah,
It's
here
been
we
a
go.
great weekend at the beach. We've had a
It
lot
has.
of visitors.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of snowbirds returning. It's we're seeing
We're just gonna
things
clip
very
your
active.
part to send to you.
Seasonal
You don't
residents.
need all
Yes.
We've had a
this.
lot
I'm
of
clipping
seasonal
that
residents.
part.
Seasonal residents, sorry. coming
well,
down.
I
It's
actually
it's
I
fantastic.
appreciate. Can I tell you?
Advanced digital tools.
Can I tell you? I appreciate that feedback, and you should have just called me and told me that because I would have taken it down.
Well,
because we have that kind of relationship where you could have called me and said,
yeah,
you're
I
trying to
probably-
be funny, but it didn't work, and I would have been like,
probably
holy
could've.
shit,
I probably
can't
could
believe.
have, but you know what? You're entitled to put. It's your
But
show,
yeah.
as you said. It's your show. So
Yeah, it's different. It's your show too.
it's not my show.
It's- I mean,
I'm
but-
just a squirrel here trying to have
please,
breakfast.
you know we have that kind
Ed,
of friendship.
Since
where
it's
you-
your show, what else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
All right.
Moving on.
So I don't even know what the hell. Oh, I know what it was. That I was watching the TDC meeting because that's all I do all day is I sit on my bad sciatica and I watch meetings. And I was waiting to see Scott sitting at the table, but I guess he doesn't get appointed until the next meeting
Yeah,
when
That's
the
correct.
county board appoints Scott.
yeah. It
to
was.
that.
I was supposed to be there. It was my last meeting, and my normal job got in the way. There was a truck that showed up that wasn't supposed to be there till the following day. So Scott did go and sat.
He was in the audience.
Yeah, he was there.
So my point is, I listened to Cecil Pendergrass, the county rep, which is probably going to be his last meeting when he comes to Lee County Supervisor of Elections. He said that they only got 2 bids for the traffic light here at the corner, and they needed 3 bids in order to get the FEMA money. And I was
Yes.
like, so that causes another delay?
that's the same thing we've had with the pool.
Yep. It very likely will cause another delay, Ed.
Can't
Unfortunately,
somebody just put in
I
a
do
bid?
have-
Why don't you put in a bid?
I
Just
do-
Put in a fake
come
bid.
in.
I would say that yes, the next time, just like we went through with the pool, where we didn't have enough bidders, so we had to go through the whole process again. Great. I'll talk about the light first. Then I do have a good update on the pool. I think things are going well. The light it likely will take a little bit longer. I do have a meeting with County Manager Dave Harner and his team this coming week. We're going to discuss that light and some other topics that the county supports us with. But Tom Yazzo, our Emergency Services Director, I've given him guidance, and he has been training our rangers here, and the rangers will be able to go out and do traffic control at that intersection during the busy times. And also,
Great.
Commander Layler and the team at Lee County Sheriff's Office have been fantastic, and they're working on a plan for where some of their volunteers, the community service officers that you see with the white shirts often
Mhm.
around and stuff like
And the
that.
Mickey Mouse hand.
With many of them, when there are enough of them on duty, they will send some of them to help us with the traffic control at that intersection as well.
Please
So
don't say
this is-
Yeah.
duty anymore.
UTY.
DUTY people. I'm sorry.
Can they
But-
get somebody that's that's entertaining? Because we've had some really good people down there
We'll do
that
our
are
best.
like,
Yep.
they're
Hey, Yazzo out there. Yazzo's
they're
entertaining.
loud. They got the movements going. Some of them are dancing. I mean, that's a great TikTok right there. Once it becomes
Well, it
American.
might be. That's
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Let's put that away.
What do you
That's a good
think?
idea.
So
I
we got
want
remember the guy.
100,000.
Remember the guy that worked for the LCSO that was out at Pine Ridge
Yes,
Road
during the
and
storm.
he was
Yes.
dancing, directing traffic.
Yes.
He became, I think, a TikTok sensation.
Yes.
He was really good. I'd love
And
to see him
Okay.
come
people,
back.
people really need that, especially during that
Well, in
situation.
times of high stress.
But anytime there's a lot of traffic,
Yeah.
you need something to diffuse, that little bit of angst you're having at having to wait.
Absolutely.
So
So
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Didn't mean to
since the mayor
digress.
brought up the pool and the difficulties we have, that we are moving further along with bringing our community pool back, our Bay Oaks pool. We went through the process, which we had to redo, of course, for because not enough bidders. We finally got a bid that was acceptable, and did a few. We were able to select an engineering company who came and spoke with us on Friday. Very good. There were still a little bit of in a cone of silence on that discussion as far as who they are and exactly what their scopes are. But I'm telling you, we are moving forward. And it's still going to take probably 12 to 18 months before we see a usable pool at Bay Oaks. But our vision is to re-engineer that pool. It was a great pool before. It was and a lot of people loved using it, both visitors and residents alike. And it had everything. It had something for everyone, for the kids, their parents, and the rest of us from the community even just wanted to go and hang out. But we want it to become a destination pool. The transition from the old community pools, which were basically your rectangle pool with maybe a little waiting area, maybe a splash pool, and that was about it with some umbrellas around it. We want to transition into what you've seen in a lot of other communities, and this is the company that can do it for us. Turn it into a destination that people from all over Southwest Florida want to come to and enjoy the pool when visitors that are staying with us want to come and use the pool. So we're excited the way ahead for that. It's going to take a little bit. We should have some engineering stuff in a couple of months that we'll be able to share with you.
So, Will,
So you don't know like what it's going to look like. Like,
don't
is
know
there going to
exactly
be
what it's gonna look like.
slides?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it's not going to be your standard community pool of what
Right.
we all remember when we were kids growing up.
So, Will, is what you're saying it's going to be like a resort pool, more like a yacht club pool?
More, yes.
Okay.
Yes, more like that.
Yeah, this is exciting. This for me is exciting. I've been talking about this for 2 years, so I'm really excited when hopefully everybody gets to see the vision.
Can you please shave for our show next Sunday?
No, because I know it makes you mad.
So, well, the other part of the TDC meeting, two other things. There was a lot of Fort Myers Beach stuff that came up at that meeting. Was the pier came up, and Cecil said, or somebody said that they are still waiting on permits from the Army Corps of Engineers, and they have no idea when they're going to get the permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. So when I posted that on Facebook, of course, LCSO, Lee County picked up the phone and said, the pier something will happen this year. Something will start this year. I don't know how they know that, but they are guessing that they're going to get permits for the pier this year. Guessing, right?
Yeah, it's my understanding as well that that's what they're waiting on right now. They've received approval from our council. They've received approval from the county commissioners to move forward with the project. But of course, because it deals with our waterways and out here and our beaches, they have to get that Corps of Engineers permit before they can start work. So we're all ready to go, ready to support Lee County as soon as they get that, so they can get started with
Yeah,
work.
and just so everybody knows, it's not just Fort Myers Beach. Cape Coral is still waiting for Army Corps of Engineer permits for their pier.
Well, and I think a thing to revisit, I know we've talked about it many, many times, but when you talk about the pier and you talk about the light, you talk about Bay Oaks and you talk about FEMA money, everybody's like, why is it taking so long? Well, the same people that are saying, why is it taking so long, are the same people that say, well, I don't want to increase my taxes to make sure that we have a light there. So everything takes money. And if money was no object and the town could go put a light up at that intersection, we would do that. If we could just build the pool back, money was no object, we would do that. But there are certain things with the FEMA requirements that you have to go through, steps you have to follow, including having more than 2 bids. You have to have 3 bids to be able to do it, to be able to receive that federal funding. So it can be challenging, but at the end of the day, I think we've all seen once things come to fruition, it actually works out really well. I mean, just look right next door at Bayside Veterans Park.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that was done after the storm, and it gets used all the time. People enjoy it. So
you guys have like a vacuum cleaner that you can suck up off the stuff off that AstroTurf there to keep it clean for the people that sit on that. Yeah.
Well,
yes.
Kind of obtuse.
No, it's not. It's not.
I'll
obtuse
take a
to
walk
Dan
through
at
after
all.
the show, and I'll talk to the team about
So,
that.
Jennifer, I think I can help answer the question, but you guys can jump in. I know that the Bowditch building is.
We'll read the question.
It's about the Bowditch while we're on the different subjects on the beach. That building does not need to be demolished. That building just needs to be fixed. And they're saying that most of the work is the boardwalk that they're going to fix. But that seems like it might be quicker than some of the other projects. So that's what I heard.
I think I think the county put out not that long ago a schedule of all the county parks and the dates and times they expected it to.
And we can repost that schedule.
Yeah.
I'll get it to Abby, and she can repost that. She can ask the county's PIO. That's it. It's with Bowditch Park, with Crescent Park, and with the pier. Their schedule for all those different locations is on that.
And they did say, which I thought was pretty funny, they said that the Matanzas Pass Preserve was 75% complete. And I went, okay, yeah, that's
it is.
It's not if you walk out on it, but they say it is. So that
that is nice.
it really is nice getting back there.
It was
you haven't
really
walked back
nice.
there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
I
And
mean,
so-
they had just redone it before the storm.
Yeah,
right?
they had
'Cause
the
it was-
kayak lounge back there.
It's
Oh,
wide.
yeah, really
and
nice.
It's nice.
Hey, Will, I was back there checking out your track that you have around the Bay Oaks property, and maybe we talked about this already and I forgot, but that basketball court and the kids playground, which looks fabulous, is completely chain locked. Like, is there any way to let the kids? Can I go in there and just snap the lock off? And is there a camera back there? I mean, it's just like a safe place. There's no traffic. It's by the pickleball courts. I mean, if you had like an adult over there,
I would not advise you to cut the lock.
I'm just
Proceed
kidding.
with caution, I would say, Ed. but that's on school district property. We did have an agreement with them previously, to my understanding, when talking with Jeff Hauge, our community services director, for use of the basketball court and the playground. That's part of our negotiations that I'm working through with the school district right now to get us access to that in the interim. I agree with you that we should have access so that our community can use it. Our Bay Oaks youth programs can use it if they need to or want to. It's ongoing discussion.
Sorry, this is when government doesn't work.
I
I
know.
mean, that's a perfectly usable basketball court and playground where
I
kids can
agree.
play safely on this island.
With a
And-
wonderful cover awning over it.
Yeah.
that Dr. Tracy Kohler, when she was the principal, got over that basketball court. It's a great facility.
Which
that we
was
wanna-
replaced under our interlocal
we wanna have
agreement as
access to. I
required
agree.
after the
It's just-
storm.
Oh yeah, that
just a waste.
interlocal agreement.
And so the
Wasn't the tower.
the last thing about the TDC meeting was, which I was a little surprised by because I didn't know anything about it. They mentioned that Crescent Park is going to have an area for live entertainment. Now, when I contacted the county, I said, "Are you guys building a band shell that nobody knew about?" Because I honestly thought that would be a great idea, a band shell at Crescent. But who's going to manage the music? And she said, "It's not really a band shell. It's going to be a place where they can have live music in Crescent Park." Did you guys know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, they let the news. So quite a while back, myself, Commissioner Maleka, Tom from TPI from Margaritaville, and then Tommy Kohler, we all met to kind of talk about how could we activate the base of that bridge space. And since Commissioner Maleka and now the TDC has put the information out there, we talked about doing the golf cart parking thing at the base of the bridge. And then we also talked about having some sort of live entertainment venue in Crescent Park to activate the base of the bridge as you come down. Commissioner Maleka was obviously very open to it. He took it back to his team. I talked to Will, and then Will and Dave have been in conversation about it ever since.
Yeah, I won't speak for the county. I'll ask this when I meet with Dave Harner the progress towards that. But yes, there's definitely a part of their plan is to have an area for live entertainment in Crescent Park there.
Like a stage or something.
I don't know exactly
Okay.
how they're envisioning that yet. I know he was still discussing it with his staff last time that we spoke before the holidays. So whether it's going to be a band shell or an area that's for temporary use by entertainment venues, I'm not sure. But definitely that, and then the Seafarers Park renovations across the street from that, underneath Margaritaville, for, as the mayor mentioned, for golf cart and bicycle parking, and for relocating the sheriff's trailer over to that point as well. Which talking with Commander Layler, and we both agree is a much better location for that sheriff's trailer, more visible for everybody as they enter and leave the island, and also just a better location for his deputies to come and go from.
Well, in your war injuries, have you ever had a sciatica?
I had a very severe back injury early in my career in the Army that did result in surgery later on in my career. Yeah, I had significant back and leg problems because of just nerve damage from a broken vertebrae in my lower back early in my career.
But
And
you seem
he's
like
not
you're
crying about
I know
it.
he's not. You wouldn't come in sixth
You notice
place.
he doesn't have a sticker.
And he wouldn't
Yeah.
come in sixth
And he
place
can't.
either. So is your back okay now? Like,
It gives me it's much better.
Yeah.
I'd say much better than it was. I have an artificial disc in there, really tremendous, innovative medicine, but it really changed my life having that procedure.
so what do you think that town's gonna do for the 250th anniversary next year? Got any plans yet?
Definitely. I want to have a big 4th of July celebration with fireworks and the other things that go with that. And we're working towards that. I'm working with the Jackie and the Chamber of Commerce, with a lot of our other groups, volunteer 501c3s that support the different things here on the island. So we're looking at different ways to come up with that. We have some great donors that are going to help us with everything from the barge to other aspects of it. So it's starting to come together. It's still early in the process, but yeah, we're definitely going to do it.
But I think it's important that people understand to put this together takes obviously money, but it also takes time. And you have to have, because it's such a big celebration this year, you have to really be in front of having this stuff reserved farther ahead than you normally do. So anybody that really wants to be part of it or contribute or do anything,
Please.
reach out to Will and the staff immediately so that we can try to get this locked in as soon
Absolutely. And like I said, when I was talking with Jackie and talking to the others, I'm going to, after talking with council, I'm going to go speak in some of these different groups and some of these individuals, telling them exactly what we need. Because he's right. in order to get the fireworks for an event like that, we have to put down a deposit soon, like within the next couple of months, maybe even
because
sooner.
everybody's going to
Everybody's going to be
Yep.
doing it. And everybody, and so we anybody who wants to help, as the mayor mentioned, in any different way, whether it be, with financial support or with material support, please reach out to us, because we're going to need that support to make that happen. Everybody remembers, who's been paying attention, the budget cycle we went through last year. It was a difficult time for us. We effectively did get our budget completely balanced, but we had to cut some things out, and that was one of the extra things that we had to cut back on. But even at that time, we talked about how we still want to have these events in the future. We're just going to have new ways to make them happen.
So lastly, on the school, where are we on the school negotiations? When's the next meeting?
No next meeting is set, Ed. I'm still waiting on a response from the school district from our latest letter to Superintendent Carlin on our counter offer back to their offer that came after the mayor's offer. I should have said offer way too many times in there. Abby's going to coach me later. But we're waiting for a response from Dr. Carlin on that counter offer. No meeting set.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions for your town manager or the future leader of Venezuela, the mayor of Fort Myers Beach?
I don't know anything about oil.
Just bring it all back. That's all that matters. Any other updates you want to share?
Go ahead.
No.
I would encourage anyone that wants to be considered for the open seat on town council to come out. Unfortunately, we're kind of in a spot here where we need to get over a hump, right? And it will be only for 8 months or so until we get to November. But I think it's being in public service is truly an honor. It's not easy. You have to have big shoulders. You have to be willing to have people tell you they don't like you for whatever reason they have. But I think the best leaders are the ones that stand in front of those people, hear them out. You can walk away disagreeing, but as long as you walk away disagreeing with respect and dignity and integrity, that's the most important part. So don't be afraid to come up and apply for. I know I don't like to use the word afraid, but there are some people who are like, why would I want to get involved? If you truly care about this community and the progress that we're making, you are exactly the person that we want to have involved. So I encourage anyone that is thinking about it or feels that they can bring some wealth of knowledge and energy and thoughtfulness to the council to please come forward.
And if I could add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. What we want is people who just want to volunteer and serve their community. What I can assure anybody, just like the counselors that are on the thing now, is you will have the full support of every member of my staff. So if you're worried that you don't know enough, I don't have enough. I don't have the time to dedicate, or I don't have. Many of them are business owners that are on the council now, and they're doing it because they love this community. There are those that don't have the business that are doing it, but the one thing that I can assure you is the staff will be behind you. Whoever is appointed, you'll have the full support of the staff, and you will not be alone in that job.
Are you surprised that nobody has stepped up?
I wouldn't say people are still rebuilding, right? I mean, I hate to say that, but they are. I mean, myself included, and everybody that's still in the council. We're all still rebuilding our lives, whether it's our business, whether it's our homes, whether it's our lives in general. So it's not an easy task. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's all kumbayas and rainbows, because it's not. You're going to have big shoulders. You're going to have to be able to sit down with people. Kevin Ruane once said this to me a long, long time ago when I thought about getting into it. And it resonates in my head every time I think about situations like this. He said, life's easy when the same 10 people are patting you on the back. It's the 10 people that are willing to punch you in the face that you want to sit in front of. And I think that's an important message that people have to understand. If you're willing to sit in front of people and you're doing it for the right reasons and they don't disagree, in my experience, since the hurricane and on, people that don't like you or they get in your face, they just want to be heard. And when you hear them and you talk things through, usually you can come out 80% of the time with a resolution that you both can live with. 20% of the time, you're just not going to agree. But I've never had a situation where I've walked away from a heated conversation where we both haven't walked away and felt like at least we were both heard. We don't agree, but we can move forward and still have community. The people aren't afraid to come up and stop you on the street, say, hey, can we have another conversation? I got another issue I want to talk about. And that's the mentality I think you need to bring to this job. And if you can do that, you'll be a perfect candidate.
So, Dan, do you feel obligated to appoint Tom Brady because he came in second in the recall?
I don't feel obligated to appoint anyone. I'm going to look at everyone the same, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Jim Dunlap, whether it's whoever else puts their name in. You know, who is going to be the best person for the candidate? And, you know, I've made decisions that people haven't liked, but I've made decisions that people do like. And I always try to make the same decision. Whatever's going to be in the best interest of the community is the decision that I'm going to go with.
Well, and I think this opportunity for the people that you mentioned that get up in your face or that have something to say, this is a great opportunity to now have a wider audience to really get your opinion,
Come
not
be
your
part of the
opinion out, but
process.
be part of the process, be part of, if
Finding
you feel
solutions.
if you feel something isn't working,
And
here's an
yeah,
opportunity.
And I encourage anyone that's considering it to get out sooner than later, because you have to get out on shows like yours and in front of the news and in front of the people on the street, because the only way you're going to know what all the issues are. We try to be everywhere all the time, both council members and staff, but you can't be everywhere all the time. So we rely on input from public. And if you're thinking about doing this job, get out soon. Get on shows like this, get on the radio, get in front of people, go set up a place where people can come talk to you, do whatever you need to do. Because that's what's going to make you a better counselor should you get selected.
And realize that the first and really the biggest question people are going to want to know about why you're applying is, what is your view on development? That's really what the most people on the island are judging.
There's a lot of issues, but yeah, sure.
Well,
That's a big
I
one.
think no matter what happens as far as an appointment, this November election is going to be a telling time in the town of Fort Myers Beach, if we're all being honest.
Heck yeah.
It's going to tell us where we're kind of going.
Yeah.
And we know we had a similar issue back when I was running in 2020, when Jim and I were running back then. It was a similar issue. There was a little bit of change. Obviously, it was before the storm. People had preconceived notions of myself and some of the other people that were running. And it was kind of a tenuous situation, right? But you found out after that election where kind of everybody's head was, because the voters had spoken. And I think in November, we will see what the voters really, really want. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
Yeah, realize if you're going to run for election, no matter where it is, people are going to say things about you that aren't true.
100%.
People are going to lie about you. Politics is an ugly game. It doesn't matter.
They may AI you into some sort of compromising situation.
I got a funny story about that. I was coming home from Gulf Coast, and I got a private message from somebody who took a picture of my truck and said, "You cut my mother off, and I have a video of it now, and you went through the red light." And I'm thinking to myself, I know that didn't happen, but I know that guy could probably take that picture and make a video of it and make it sound like it's true. That's how crazy things are. I mean, I know I drive the speed limit to the point where she yells at me, "Why are you driving the speed limit?" I don't go through red lights like she does, and I certainly don't cut old ladies off.
Well, you don't intentionally cut people off, but you don't pay attention.
I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not saying that
He's
will happen
the one
in
in
election.
the left lane going 55.
The speed limit, going the speed limit.
No.
So, anyway.
But again, I encourage anyone to, we're fortunate that we live in a place that's beautiful, that we all have passion. We all, again, don't agree on all the things all the time, but we all have one thing in common. We love this beach. We love where we live. We enjoy what we do. And we're just some of us are trying to make a living. Some of us just want to enjoy living here. And I think if we can keep that same culture, and whoever the next council member it is now through November and whatever happens in November, I think if they bring that, because the people that are going to come forward, we have a lot of highly, highly qualified, educated people that don't need to do this. So we should not give them reasons to not want to do it.
Right.
We should encourage them. We should encourage them that they, to Will's point, you have the full, I could tell you, I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of good people in that building, and it's just getting better and better and better. And I think when the staff understands that the council has their back and vice versa, that makes your job that much easier when you're all going in the same direction. So we need to come back together and understand that we all care about this little slice of heaven, and we're all not going to get our way. But at the end of the day, everybody that's doing this is doing it for the right reason.
All right. Big hand for the president of Venezuela and the town manager. Will, thank you guys very much. And before we read the ads, I did want to chat real quick about my friend Matt DeVette. It just because that whole thing that you doing, the whole thing that happened
That was good.
happened yesterday was so bizarre in that when he got let go, it sounds to me like, and coming from the radio industry, I've watched people lose their jobs after building up, a big following, and then they just cost too much money. Then they've earned the money, and they cost the company too much money. And I don't know that this is a fact. It's just speculation. But I think that you give a guy of 10 years at least the chance to say goodbye to people in the community. Who was the guy before him? The older gentleman that was before him. His name was Jim something, but he was the chief meteorologist forever. The guy got a send-off and he retired. What was his last name? Okay. Well, he got a nice send-off. And Matt has built up, like, he's been the host at the Lovers Key Gala, and you see him with the two babies on Facebook, and he just seems like a family guy. Now, I don't know, something might have happened where he maybe stole a jar of peanut butter from the corner store or something. I mean, there's got to be another side to the story. But the longer that Wink lets this sit out there and doesn't make a statement or doesn't say anything, the worse it gets for them, because
but all they have to do is ride it out. And that's why people need to stay the course if you support Matt.
Yeah. And that's why he made that post this morning about you guys that are trying this petition thing to bring him back. They're not paying attention to you. They don't care. None of that will go anywhere with a company like that. If that's the case, they'll just ride it out, and they'll figure if he's got a non-compete in this market, that's solid, man. You can't fight a non-compete. And you can try and fight a non-compete, but you have to stay off the air. And the longer that you're off the air, the longer people forget about you and something like that. And so I don't know if he's going to be able to do like a Mike's weather page thing, because, does Matt have all these fancy schmancy weather equipment in his garage where he's ready to get in there or something? But he's, I showed you guys on Facebook, we make about $1,700 to $2,000 a month on Facebook. And he's got 1.4 million followers. Can you imagine? He could make a living off Facebook. But the thing with that is Facebook can just turn you off at any moment and say, they change the algorithm and they say, wait a second, this is ridiculous. You're stealing money. So the whole thing was just bizarre. And we invited Matt to come on the show, not today, but whenever he wants to. And hopefully he'll come on or he'll make a statement or something where you know what the real story is. But to take somebody that is so loved in the community and then perp walk him out of the building, the whole thing is bizarre. And unless Wink gets, hold of it, it's not going to make any sense to people that love that guy. Right. You don't want to say anything about it.
Well, you've said it all.
Okay,
I said my points online. I agree. I think it's about the bottom line. And now you're going to have less qualified people. And
thank you, Jenny. Jim Reef was his name.
The next time we hope, but there's going to be weather events. People really put their trust in him. And somebody made the comment, like, when he takes off his jacket or when he rolls up his sleeves, it's going down.
I remember when I was at Margaritaville during Milton, and, the lights went out and the power went down, and we're trying to, I'm watching things with bike lights. You see him with his sleeves rolled up, and then you go to the other station, you see Allison. It was him and Allison that were there all the time on the two different channels when the storm comes through. And Zach is good on Wink, and so we'll see what happens. But to me, it's going to be interesting tomorrow morning when Jason Jones gets on Fox News, and the way he grilled Rachel about her DUI. Is he gonna bring up? Is he gonna bring up what happened to Matt? But they're all in cahoots together, and so. When
you don't know if they're in cahoots.
They are in cahoots because Wink does the weather for that radio station, and Zach will come in. And why not just say to Zach, "Hey, Zach, what happened? What happened to Matt? What's the real story behind why Matt's not even allowed to say goodbye to all the people that love that guy?" So, I guess we'll see what happens to that, right?
Yep.
Anything else? Who wants Buffalo or Jacksonville today? That's going to be. Torn between that one because, being a Giants fan, we've tortured Buffalo so many times. Nobody cares.
Yeah, move on to the ads.
Did Green Bay win last night, by the way? What happened to Green Bay last night? All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming. And before you hang up the phone, I want to tell you about a few things that are going on. There's on January 14th, the Lee County Legal Aid Society is having a free event to talk to people that are still affected by Hurricane Ian, and that's going to be at the Fort Myers Beach Public Library on the 14th. So I think it starts at 9:30. So if you have anything that is still going on with you from the storm, Bring all your paperwork, and you're going to get free legal advice at the Fort Myers Beach Public Library. So if you're getting screwed by a contractor or an insurance person, or I don't know, if you have questions about a permit, stop by the Legal Aid Society on the 14th of January at the library. I also wanted to tell you about the Island Pancake House. They have a full liquor bar. They're serving breakfast and lunch 7 days a week from 7:30 to 2 o'clock, and they're located in the Seagrape Plaza. They have all indoor seating with air conditioning, free parking, and the Fort Myers Beach tram, can't get rid of the bug, runs right up into the Seagrape Plaza. They also have gluten-free options at the Islands Pancake House and the Seagrape Plaza right behind the big pizza bus. And also don't forget that the UPS store is now open in Santini Plaza, the beautiful Santini Plaza on the south end. They have packing and shipping guaranteed, mailboxes available for rent. They are open 7 days a week, Perry, 7 days a week. They have a notary service, print services, and so much more is available. And they are located right in the Santini Plaza. You can give them a call right now. They're sitting in their car with their boxes waiting for you at 239-747-6222. 239-747-6222. All right, everybody, don't forget the Marine Environmental Resources Task Force meeting with the helicopter dude is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And we'll be, did I forget one? We'll be broadcasting that meeting live. Make sure I didn't forget anybody. Nope, we're good. Thank you all for coming. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you around the corner in the lovely clean waters of Fort Myers Beach. Bye-bye.